Diane Kruger, you star in the German language courtroom revenge drama In the Fade. Before we go on to anything else, though, I really just wanted to say, first of all, congratulations on your win at the Cannes Film Festival. That's such a huge, prestigious, incredible honor. Talk us through when that was announced.
Um, well, so our film screened the last weekend in Cannes, so a lot of people had left and it felt kind of an empty festival at that point. So our screening was Friday night, and then Saturday we did press all day. And then on Sunday, which is when the ceremonies are, they call you or not call you to say, please stay. Your film is getting something. So I was packing and they called us to say, please stay, you and Fatih, your movie is getting something. So we were super excited walking up those steps. It's so iconic. We were so thrilled. I was not expecting to win, and I think you can see that in the clip because I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it felt amazing and very, I was incredibly grateful and excited. And at the same time, just 48 hours before that, the Manchester attacks had happened. And it felt strange, to be rewarded for a performance when this movie is about something very real and really realistic. And I kind of realized that, thousands of Katjas, which is my character's name in the movie, were created just 2 days ago.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the film is very timely. It focuses on themes that are very much in the news: neo-Nazis, terrorism, xenophobia. What were your thoughts on bringing these themes to life? Because I'm sure that you would have thought that it would have been quite a challenge.
When I read it, what moved me so incredibly was that this movie is really about the people who stay behind. There's been plenty of films about terrorists and bombs and attacks. But this film felt like it was an emotional portrayal of a mother, no matter in what language this film would be made, in English, French, and that I felt like everyone can connect to that emotion, and we don't talk enough about the people that stay behind, and the terrible things it does to us as human beings having to live with such a loss, or can you even live with something like this? So that's what really moved me, and the empathy I felt for my character from the get-go was really why I wanted to make this.
Yeah, there's a bunch of sequences in the film because the film is very tense and it's very propulsive. It's not a long film. There are points in the film that are really quite jolting. Obviously, the first one is the big attack towards the beginning of the film when Katja's life is completely and utterly shattered. What was your first reaction to when you read the script and you knew that you were going to take that on, and the reaction of this mother losing her family? What was going through your mind in terms of how you were going to prepare for that?
I wasn't quite sure if I could do it. I wasn't sure if I had the resources, also not being a mother myself, if I could portray and find the truth in this character accurately. And also the ending of the film, which is obviously always in the script, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to get there, So as soon as I signed on, I reached out to a few friends in New York, and I started sitting in on self-help groups for victims of mostly vicious murder, a few people of terrorist attacks. And I didn't quite understand at the time how much that would affect me as a person. I thought I was going to go in a couple times, ask questions, and then sort of make my sauce up in my head and hope for the best. But it felt like it became a life-changing thing, because as the month and the weeks passed and I was sitting in and just listened and allowed myself to feel their pain, see the different stages of grief they were going through, the unspeakable pain that I saw in so many people's eyes, is something I will never forget. And it started to haunt me, truly haunt me at night. I couldn't think about anything else. Huge sense of responsibility that I have to give a voice. This is my opportunity to give a voice to these people, because we don't, like I told you before, I feel like we don't hear about that, what it does to them, you know. And anyway, so as the time passed, and I felt like by the time we started filming, I was ready. You know, I had heard and seen so much.
Yeah. And after witnessing as the audience that scene in the beginning, I figured, okay, so that would be probably the most confronting thing to see. But frankly, it was in the courtroom when the verdict is being read out, and it just feels like Katja's world is just closing in on her, and she goes into this real shock. She's paralyzed basically, and I'm curious to know. Talk us through shooting that scene, and what were you trying to achieve in that moment?
Those were actually, I want to say, nearly the most difficult scenes to shoot, because time has passed. You know, she has moved on from just the acute pain of what just happened to wanting to fight to make sure that these people, these killers, are getting what they deserve, and they go to jail, and they're going to have to pay for what they've done. And so being in that courtroom for 2 weeks, you know, it was very difficult to keep up that tension, because as you can imagine, there's lots of people. You shoot these scenes over and over and over. There's lots of very stilted dialogue as they describe what was happening. So I found it very difficult to keep up that tension, because inside of Katja, she's boiling. You know, she's boiling over with and disgust and seeing her killers for the first time as well. And but she's a fighter, right? It looks like there's no way they're going to get off. She saw them. Like, everything is so obviously going to work out. There's going to be justice, and that's the only thing that keeps her going. When that verdict happened, you know, I just felt like I needed to play it like nothing. There's nothing left. You know, she's gone through everything she had in her. And so it's really, as noise starts happening and people start talking and the camera starts moving, there's nothing left. It's the end of everything, in a way. That's the day she decides revenge is the only option, you know?
Yeah, and like, as a parent myself, that was the first thing that occurred to me, and I'm sure you hear it a lot, that, you know, if something like that, like what happened to Katja, happened to me, who knows what I'd be capable of doing. And I wonder, what are your thoughts on this really thin line between justice and revenge? Because they're kind of similar in many ways.
You know, I'm just like you. I hope I never have to find out. When I read the script, or when I saw the movie, I was just like you. I asked myself, like, what would I do? I don't know, because I'm not in that situation, and hopefully never will be. But through the preparation, by the way, revenge is a feeling that we all have at certain various degrees in our lives about various things. But it's definitely a feeling I observed, or a sense I got anyways, from the victims, the families of victims that I met. How can it not? You know, somebody took the most essential thing from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I can only imagine, if you don't have closure of that and the injustice of that, you know, what would you do? I understood why Katja does what she does, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to go on a slightly lighter note, I mean, the film's a thriller, but there's another scene where in Greece, when Katja's driving away frantically from these people who are probably going to kill her, and immediately I thought, geez, that would have been probably lots of fun to do, but slightly challenging to be driving away in a field with. I didn't even know how Fatih would have shot that, but what was it like to do that scene? Something kind of different, or a bit more action?
Yeah, it was kind of fun. You know, we shot the movie in order, which helped me immensely. So by the time we got to Greece, you know, there was a more proactive side to my character that was nice, you know, to finish the movie on that note. So the car chasing scene, but you know, it's an indie. This movie cost $5 million, so everything is, I'm driving that car. You know, there's no fancy fancy stuff in this film, which I think is great, because you really feel like you're there with her. You know, there's no fancy camera work to make it look like a James Bond movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I look back at your career, I was really surprised to see that you haven't got a massive kind of list of German language films that you've done. Why Why haven't you done it more often? And did you enjoy working in the German language in a German film?
I left. I just left 25 years ago. I moved to France and then the U.S. So I wasn't an actress when I left, and I don't really know anyone in the German film industry. I have no agent there. I've been hoping. Truly, I've been hoping to get something. And even this though happened because I went up to Fatih in Cannes because I knew his films, and his films are shown in France, where I live part-time, and that's where I saw the majority of his films. So I knew he was a filmmaker that I really loved and admired. I don't know, hopefully there will be more.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I looked into this, and I don't want to jinx you, but if you were, to be nominated at the Oscars in a couple of months, you'd be the first German language actress to do so. There's been a few German actresses like Marlene Dietrich and so forth, but you'd be the first one, and that's a huge honor. And Germany's done very well in the foreign language category, and this film is Germany's official submission in that category. But it would be so cool to see you in that category. What do you think of that? That would be something very special for you to kind of hold as your record.
Oh, well, I mean, those questions are tough to answer because I'm not sure what I can say to that.
Yeah.
I think awards and the attention that America has when it comes to the award time and the circuit that people do, I have to say it's been the greatest thing to be invited to be part of it. I'm really grateful to talk about this movie because I think especially foreign language films are in America niche films that audiences have to find somewhere somehow. And because of Cannes and the strong connection that truly I have felt with audiences here and critics here, just to be able to talk about it so much, and people have been incredibly kind. I'm really proud to be here, and that's very special to me. I'm immensely proud of this film, my first German language film, and we'll see where it goes. Anything from here on is already like over the rainbow.
Yeah, absolutely. And Diane, thank you for your time, and good luck this award season. Congratulations on your honors to date, and it's a really wonderful and exciting film to watch.
Thank you very much. Thank you.